from a previous employer and shows how a fuel cell works, but it just explained, and it's usually difficult to wrap people's mind about, is the operating principle. So we've got something coming in, any fuel, any gasoline, any methanol, ethanol. We have to reform it first. We have to create the hydrogen somehow, and that can be done in a reformer in a car. So we produce hydrogen, CO, and CO2. CO, apart from the fact that it's toxic to us, it's very toxic to the catalyst in the fuel cells. We usually use platinum, and platinum and CO like each other really much. So the CO comes along, sticks to the platinum, and effectively kills the catalytic effectiveness of the catalyst. So you have to get rid of it. We oxidize the CO to CO2. So the only thing that we've got left after our reforming and cleaning is CO2. We get rid of that, and hydrogen. Hydrogen then is being split on the anode surface into its base compartment. Hydrogen is nothing else but two protons, electrons. Electrons we can draw over an external circuit. That's the energy that we get out of it. And we see something turning there. And the protons we hand along a polymeric back chain through the electrolyte. And then on the other side we just have the water coming along, and then some magic. And everything becomes water. Oh, sorry, oxygen coming along, and then everything becomes water. And that doesn't have to be pure oxygen. We've got enough oxygen in the air, so we can just flow air over the other side. So the only thing that we produce in the end is water, heat. So let's take a look at our living guy. Big surprise? Still not. Okay. Later. Never works. Let's take a look at the others this way. This is how fuel cells basically would look like in a model, and I've got two here. They're basically the same, only that this has been sitting around a long time. It's now pretty default. And the water, because we didn't change it. What we see here is basically how we could envision our hydrogen future with that. So everyone, we've got our sun, little sun, sitting here, and then we've got solar cells. So we have here just a normal array of solar cells that basically harvests our energy, and we put that energy into this kind of compartment. And that's one fuel cell sitting in water. And that's just what usually is being done in hydrolysis or electrolysis of water. You might have done it in school at some point. You just stick two pieces of metal in and then apply voltage, and then at some point you see some bubbles coming out. One side is oxygen, we can met that in the air, we don't need it. The other side is hydrogen, and that becomes stored and fueled into our car. So this side of things is sort of kind of the roadside terminal. So you would have this every 50 kilometers, just a huge tank of water, lots of solar cells on the top, and they permanently produce energy and create hydrogen while it's sort of sitting there. And then you just come along with the car. Come along with the car, and then just fuel in your hydrogen into your car. And that's the same thing in reverse. So what we have here, this little rectangular box, is in both cases a fuel cell. So you can use fuel cells both to produce hydrogen as well as to use it out and create energy again. In this case, we fuel, basically we fuel the hydrogen, or we just let it flow over the surface, over our anode surface. And the other side, we just flow the oxygen, basically, for pressure equivalence, we flow the oxygen here, but it could just be air. And then, our system works. And what we've done here, in this little background display, this works. It's the same thing again, only that instead of having roadside terminal and fueling station separately, we've got them all in one. And this is how something we could have in our cars. Same thing again, there's the fuel cell sitting in the middle and two containers of water. And while we put energy in, we create gases, and that has been done overnight. Yeah. And then when we reverse it, and unfortunately you can't see it really. Can somebody catch it very well? The reason that's very slow is obviously it's only a very small cell, and the surface area is very small. So if you imagine that kind of like a battery, that would be a small button-type battery. If you would have a fuel cell in our car, fuel cell system, then we obviously stack it. I'll come to that in a second. You don't only have one cell, so you have lots of them sort of in series. And they would be that tiny. They would be about this diameter. So if you want in the end, you can take another look at these guys. Still not working. So that's pretty much that's kind of the same display that you've seen the demonstration there on. And some of the research that's been going on now is first of all, let's look at the catalysis basically. What I said before on those low temperature fuel cells, obviously 80 degrees is pretty low temperature for any reaction which is happening by itself. As you saw, we just sort of flow the hydrogen over the surface and everything happens by itself. Without us doing anything, there's no burning, there's no flame, nothing. Yeah. And that's being done because the reaction is facilitated by a catalyst. Catalyst, the best one that we have is platinum. Fortunately or unfortunately, it's very rare and not very cheap. If you look at the price development, we started off in 99, we still were at $400 per ounce. It's pretty certainly expensive, and nowadays $1,500 per ounce and rising. So people come up with ideas of A, how to reduce the amount of load of platinum in the cells, and B, replace the platinum. So first of all, reduce the amount, the load of platinum. What we had earlier, when we started developments, was applying a paste of platinum, and that's obviously like, I don't know, a kilogram per square meter of surface area of the cell. And pretty much every, let's say, 2 years, we reduce it by a factor of 10. So the platinum loading is really low. And one of the things that we looked at, for example, here is the electron micrographs on the left side. That's our nanoparticles of platinum. So we make it really small. That's a big advantage because the surface area is going to be really high. And the higher the surface area, the better we can, the more reaction we can have. And now we have to get that somehow into the cell. In the cell structure, we have to have some support, something that mechanically holds the cell. And what there usually is some polymer. So on the right side, you can see these kind of